Welcome back to The Point, a part of the Vendetta Sports Media Podcast Network. My name is Jared Prosser, and as always, I'm very happy to have you with us again today. On each episode of The Point, I'll examine a topic, a question, or an issue currently impacting the NBA. Today, we're looking at the ascension of the Orlando Magic. Clearly, the Magic were on the right path heading into this season. Their exciting young core has generated plenty of clicks and column inches. Did anybody, though, expect them to be quite this good this soon? Led by a pair of huge tentpole forwards in Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, the Magic might be the best young team in the NBA this side of the Oklahoma prairies. The 15-7 Magic are off to their best start since the 2017 season, when both Banchero and Wagner were still in middle school. They're comfortably leading the Southeast Division and sitting second in the Eastern Conference, a conference that is super competitive at its top end. Orlando have blown out teams at home. They've taken care of business in hostile environments. They've won in clutch situations, and they've even taken down the reigning champions. There really hasn't been a moment that they haven't conquered in this early season. Head coach Jamal Mosley, my leader by a long way for Coach of the Year at this stage, has repeated the refrain that his Chargers are learning how to win this season. It would appear that they're quick studies. It remains to be seen if this young group can maintain the rage, but they're well ahead of schedule. Orlando started last season 5-20, though recovered to win 34 games on the season. They're currently on course for a 57-win campaign. Even accounting for some regression to the mean, the Magic should race past last season's win total. How then, beyond some natural evolution, have Orlando managed to progress from a fascinating young squad to a potential winner of a playoff round or two? The primary reason for Orlando's ascension is their vastly improved defense. Now, looking at the rawest of numbers doesn't tell the entire story here. They're giving up an even 109.6 per game, which is good for ninth in the NBA, though Orlando's fifth-ranked pace does inflate that number a touch. Rather, look at their 109.1 defensive rating, currently sitting second in the NBA. Last season, Orlando came in 18th in that metric. The emergence of Jalen Suggs as a reliable starter has helped that transformation. As a rookie, Suggs was gifted minutes on a lowly team. They would earn the number one pick overall, remember. These were minutes that he didn't necessarily earn and certainly didn't make the most of. Defensively, he was okay, which is to say pretty good for a rookie, but he wasn't a game changer. On offense, he certainly was a game changer, though not in a good way. Turnovers, loose handles, slow decisions, and some utterly dreadful shooting, 36% from the floor, 21% from three-point range, more than eclipsed any positives that Suggs brought on defense individually, whilst also making it harder for his teammates by creating so much transition offense for the opposition. He did look better last season, but the term bust was still being whispered. This season, though, Suggs has looked the part of the all-action wrecking ball on defense that people thought he would be, whilst bringing just enough offense to make it worthwhile. He does remind me of a young Marcus Smart in a lot of ways. Now, Suggs has been one of the select few to slow down both Tyrese Halliburton and Damian Lillard this season. He's playing tough chest-to-chest defense. He's shooting passing lanes, and importantly, he does all of the little things, the tone-setting things that you might not notice on first watch. He's fantastic at calling out sets as they begin, so clearly he studies the opposition scouting reports. He's an expert at dictating defensive matchups, scram switches and the like. He always boxes out when there is practically no chance of a rebound ever falling his way. In short, he's become a leader for this young squad. Now, this sort of defensive discipline that Suggs is the driving force behind, it permeates through a team quickly. It makes Banchero, expected to be a defensive liability coming out of college, take every shift seriously. It puts a one-way player like Cole Anthony, my apologies, on notice. You either play both ends or you don't play at all. And to that end, this season, Anthony is leading the league in offensive fouls drawn. It also can't be overlooked how the long-awaited return of Jonathan Isaac has solidified the reserve unit defense. He's only playing about 12 to 15 minutes a night, so he's not going to be the all-defense candidate that he was before his legs fell off. But having an athletic big who can give you close to all defense level play whilst your stars are resting is a luxury for Coach Mosley. With Isaac on the floor, Orlando's defense rating is a frankly absurd 94.1. Now, I also want to point out here the, I suppose, unexpected production at both ends of Mo Wagner and Goga Bitadze. Both, realistically, are career backup big men who have been thrust into a platoon arrangement at the centre position by Wendell Carter Jr.'s injury. And by the way, that Carter trade looks better for the Magic by the day, doesn't it? Bitadze, he came into the league as a potential stretch big, though a career three-point percentage of just 25% has clearly put that to bed. Instead, the Georgian has dedicated himself to throwing his 6'11", 250-pound frame into just about anything that moves on a basketball court. His physicality is frankly really annoying, and when he rests, you get the elder of the Wagners, only one of the preeminent pests in today's NBA. To be clear, neither in a vacuum are as good a defender or as good an overall player as Carter, but sometimes just giving your opponent the shits is enough to make up for that. The combination of annoyance, physicality, length, Orlando's guards are generally quite big, and remember that Paolo and Franz are both 6'10". It makes Orlando a nightmare to play against. And I've mentioned those two names again, Banchero and Franz Wagner, so let's turn our attention to those two key men in this resurrection. If Wagner never wins an NBA championship, never wins an MVP, makes All-NBA, never even so much as makes an All-Star team, he's still a strong chance to make the Hall of Fame, just for his exploits in leading Germany to the underdog World Cup victory they enjoyed last offseason. Fortunately for Wagner, it doesn't look like he'll have to prop up a Hall of Fame case on that triumph alone. Wagner surprised a few people as a rookie with his NBA readiness, and he's only gotten better since coming into the league. So far this campaign, he's giving the Magic about 20 points, a tick under 6 boards, 4 assists and a steal. His efficiency, though, has dropped a little from his previous 2 seasons as I suppose teams start to focus on him and scout him a lot more. Wagner, though, recently reeled off 3 straight 30-point games. We'll respectfully ignore that they were against Charlotte and twice against Washington. He became the first Magic player to do this since Dwight Howard in 2011, which, if nothing else, is an indication of the Magic's ineptitude over the last 12 years. Now, aside from those two, the only other players to record 3 straight 30-point games for the Magic are Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway, and Tracy McGrady. So that's Dwight, Shaq, Penny, T-Mac. That's fine company for a third-year player to be keeping. The first overall pick in 2022 and reigning Rookie of the Year, Banchero might be, and it's hard to believe I have to say this, but he might be flying under the radar as far as general recognition is concerned. The recently turned 21-year-old is replicating many of his averages as a rookie, namely around 20.7 boards and half a block, but he's averaging almost a half steal a game more, as well as around an assist and a half more than what he was averaging last campaign. Most importantly, Banchero's efficiency has skyrocketed. As a rookie, he posted shooting splits of 43, 29, 74, and an effective field goal percentage of 46.5%. This season, that has improved to 48, 41, and 70, and an effective field goal percentage of 53.6. There have been doubts around Banchero as a genuine first option, an offensive hub for a championship contending team. And whilst he might not ever be a 30-point per game scorer, he certainly has a 25 a game and maybe 7 assist average in him as he matures. That's more than enough to be a first option offensive player on a very good team. Right now, he's averaging 20.7 points, 6.8 boards, 4.7 assists. If he can up those averages to 27 and 5, he'll join very select company. Right now, there are only 7 players in the league who are reaching those thresholds. Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Alperen Şengün, Julius Randle, and Pascal Siakam. The only player on that list to have not made All-NBA is Şengün, and he is well on his way. Banchero, folks, he is right on the doorstep of superstardom. If you want further evidence of the possibilities Orlando see in their star forward pairing, Take a look at this from the always informative NBA University on Twitter, and no, I will never call it X, comparing second year Bunkero to second year Jason Tatum and third year Wagner to Jalen Brown's third season. Just drink this in, Magic fans. It's pretty clear that the Magic have their superstars. They just need time to blossom. Now, we've talked about the defense, we've talked about the stars, and even a few underappreciated talent stepping up. But there are other factors in this Magic feel-good story. Joe Ingles has fit hand in glove with this team, despite being 64 years old and looking like he was washed in Milwaukee last season. The Australian gives the Magic three things that it sorely needs: shooting, a veteran presence, and, for want of a better term, moxie. Despite looking like a composite of every substitute schoolteacher ever, Ingles is scared of precisely no one. He gives the Magic a swagger on the court that the young guys on the team really feed off. And as far as more X's and O's, he's already developed a nice pick and roll chemistry with both Wagners. Now, let's not forget Coach Mosley. As I mentioned earlier, he simply has to be the front runner for rookie of the year, coach of the year at this point. He has his young team gelling. He's found something in Suggs. He's rehabilitated Markel Fultz over the last couple of seasons. And he's doing the same with Isaac this season. He's turned lemons into lemonade when Carter went down. And tellingly, he has a young team and a team that doesn't really have a true defensive ace. Now, Suggs might get there, but he's not nearly there yet. But he has a young team playing magnificent team defense. Now, the Magic's current position isn't a right, it's a privilege. It's one they've worked hard for and will have to work even harder to keep. But being a young team, it's fair to expect that there will be some inconsistencies in their play through the season. A team this green overall can't reasonably be expected to maintain their current defensive intensity throughout the season. When that slips, is there enough offense to suffice? Orlando, frankly, is a horridly poor shooting team. They rank 25th in three-point percentage and dead last in three-point attempts. Are the likes of Caleb Houston and Jet Howard ready to step in and solve that problem? Realistically, no. Though Houston is starting to get more of a look in. They're both ace shooters, but they don't contribute really anywhere else at this point. There's also the ever-present risk of injury. As I mentioned, Carter is out with a broken hand. Fultz has only played 5 games. Bunkero and Franz Wagner, well, both Wagners, I guess, play overtly physical styles. Will that impact their relatively young bodies? Isaac remains a ticking time bomb health-wise. So, yes, there are pitfalls along the way for this exciting young Magic lineup. But after what has been a decade in either rebuilding mode or the wilderness of being a perennial 8th seed, we might be witnessing the birth of the next contending Magic team. And with an admittedly healthy dose of luck, the core of a team that might earn the club's first championship. And that will do it for this edition of The Point. So please leave your comments and questions below the line. And as always, I'll do my best to respond to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to The Point and all of the other wonderful material the Vendetta Sports Media produces. My name is Jared Prosser. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all again next time.